So hi everybody, Adrian Nelson here. I hope that you're doing amazing. So some of you may know that I recently embarked on a, well, how do I call this? I created the meditation journey for other people where I try to share all the knowledge that I have gained over the last couple of years. And I'm very happy because I've got these two beautiful people that joined me on there, Roxanne and Arno. Hello guys. And it was really fantastic having them with it because in the first part of the coaching, it's very much just me, sort of like sharing everything with you. But then I wanted to really bring some people that, in my opinion, are really coming from the highest good and from a very authentic point and get them on board with it because I love working with positive intention. So thank you so much for joining me on the journey. It's been super exciting because you guys joined me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and thanks, Andrew, for giving us the opportunity to work with you. It's been a really pleasant experience so far. And one of the nice things with incorporating different people is that the different perspectives you get on one thing, you know, it's always nice to get different perspectives. And obviously one of our perspectives will reach, you know, a person differently, put it that way, you know. We all rate different genders, different races, and all of that sort of stuff. So it's nice to bring in diversity almost, you know. So Adrian, you know, one of the things I feel people should know is almost like what sort of meditation did for you in your life, or what it helped change, or, you know, what's the most meaningful points?
Yes, so I think some of the basic pointers to always bear in mind, which a lot of people don't know, because when we've been doing something for a while, and remember, Arno, we had a conversation the other day, that when you've been doing something for a while, you forget the basics. It's a safe thing to do. It's actually really simple. So that I give you all of this information, but it's all of the information gives you the understanding of how simple it actually is. And the funny thing about it on meditation is that you actually learn to do nothing. And that's where the magical space actually really lies, which is really, really cool.
That was actually one of my biggest things in a bad way, is that I thought, this is so passive, it's not doing anything. I don't know what results I'm going to gain until I continuously did it every single day for a period of time. And then I was able to actually look around in my life and I started seeing how things were able to shift and how I became in control of things. And yeah, but it has to be consistent, doing nothing for a short period of time every day, you know. Yeah, it's amazing when you start seeing the results. That's when you start believing in it, you know.
And actually it helps you become more aware of everything, more aware of your own body, more aware of your feelings, more aware of your surroundings. And you cannot really make any positive changes if you're not aware. And you can only be aware if the mind is quiet and you can listen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are so many sounds out there, but I guess in our busy lives we walk around, we hear all these sounds, but we don't really pay attention. And sometimes there's a sign from the universe, or sometimes there's a pointer in the right direction, but we ignore it.
Yeah, so it helps you be present, really, really present throughout your day, where most of us are living autopilot. You know, the day is gone and we can't really even say if we were present throughout that day, you know.
And you know what I love so much about, oh, sorry. Sorry.
No.
Roxanne and I, we are the talkers. Arno's the more passive one. Even though I'm the one with like all this wisdom, because when you actually do open your mouth, you come across with all this wisdom. So maybe you should share some of the wisdom with us.
So one of the things I just wanted to say quickly is that there's a lot of people out there that believe that meditation is belongs to a specific religion or culture, and it's not. It's for everyone. It doesn't matter what religion, what culture, whatever organization you're part of. Meditation is really about oneself and getting in touch with oneself and becoming aware of oneself. And I could carry on for days, but it's all about self. It's got absolutely nothing to do with any sort of cultural or religious practice, you know. So it's actually absolutely for everybody.
Even when you really look at it, most cultures have actually practiced it at one point or the other. I mean, just go back like about 7,500 years, but that's only the traces we have. It's probably gone way longer than that. And I mean, the great thing, and this is really what I try to bring across in the coaching, because a lot of times I think with meditation, people just like, let's sit in the lotus position and go aum and stuff like that, which is really, really great. And I speak about all of that. But some of us have very busy minds, and it's difficult for you to switch off your mind. And I think when you understand how to rather get into that space to get the benefit of meditation itself, that is really when it becomes very, very powerful for you. And that is really what, what we work together to try and achieve for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I must say for me, I've got a very busy mind, and it's only once I started meditating was I able to slow that mind down, because you're actually clutching, you're all over the show and you're not really doing anything specific. So when you slow down enough, you're able to prioritize a lot better in your day, and just be in control of what you're doing instead of running around like a headless chicken. So yeah, that was the biggest thing for me.
I would say prayer is also a form of meditation. It's actually, people pray, but what they don't realize, they actually connect to the divine being within. So I feel prayer is the same as meditation. It's basically going within, connecting with who you are, which is a part of source, which is a part of everything.
Yeah, that's actually a very valid point, and that's very true. People don't even realize that being quiet in prayer is very much similar to meditation.
Because you become quiet, like when you typically pray or you go give honor or whatever it is that you really do, you go into the quiet space. And the quiet space is where the magic really happens. And also the other thing is that meditation itself is incredibly healthy for you, not just on a spiritual level, but it's good for your body. It can really help to change your neural pathway. So it can actually help your brain to operate in a different way, which can really help you with all kinds of illnesses and stuff that you are struggling with, even things like skin pigmentation, because when I was very, very young, I had difficulty with really, really bad pigmentation. Obviously, I've got dark skin, and I wouldn't get like lots of pimples all over the place. I'll get one here, one there, and one there, and they're like these big yellow blobs. So, and when your stress levels obviously lower, then the way that your body reacts to it is also different, which is
yeah. So that actually affects, you're able to, and this is so interesting because you gain control of your hormonal system, your endocrine system, things like that. We don't realize that our thought patterns are very much linked to what's going on physically. Like, in other words, what I'm trying to say is you create negative thinking, overthinking, mind all over the show, creates chaos within your brain, and that creates chaos within your body.
Yeah.
So it brings everything so perfectly into balance, especially when it's a consistent, a little bit every day. It's amazing how you'll be like, geez, my life's changed so much. I'm looking better, I'm feeling better, and you just don't understand that it's all about meditation at the end of the day.
Yes. It really,
the same with the saying that we ask God for something in prayer, but we don't shut up long enough for Him to answer us. And that's where meditation comes in. You need to really start listening as well. We ask these guidance, ask for guidance and questions and all that, but we don't sit still and listen to the answer or the solution to something.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like to understand how things work on a scientific level as well, which is why I'm so into regression hypnosis and NLP and those sort of things, because when you really look at why hypnosis actually works, it is literally about sort of like checking in with your subconscious and asking it, what is the better way for it? As I said, it changes your neural pathways, it changes the hormones that you secrete, which means it speaks to your DNA, and you have a very different experience of life. It's really, really incredible.
Yeah, you see, there's so much there's so many things that can confirm that meditation is key. One more thing that I do with meditation is I spend a little bit of time before I go into meditation, obviously set up for meditation, but just before I go into a space of gratitude, because that sort of sets the intention and the tone for your day. And when we're in a space of gratitude, we can't be angry, depressed, and all of that. So that with the meditation seems to really improve my entire day, because I've set my mind in with the intention that, I'm actually grateful for what we have. And the rule is, when we're grateful for what we really have now, we attract more of that abundance. Yes. In all ways.
And it's really, if you just think of it, even I remember when I was much younger, because I started meditating when I was really, really young. And this one time with the school, now I'm not I love the outdoors, but I'm not actually a camping, laying flat on the ground sort of person, Yeah, but we went to this game park, and it was kind of scary because there were lions and things around. And you may not sometimes be able to change your surroundings, but you can change how you relate to the surroundings. And I think even with even with, like, for example, I've been born highly intuitive. Roxanne, we never actually spoke about that with you, so I don't really know, you can tell us. But even with Arno, I know that you've been born highly intuitive as well, where you kind of see with your eyes people that have passed away sometimes. And it can be very hard to live in a world where you realize that you are the only person that's actually having that sort of experience. And in a space like that, meditation can be a wonderful thing because it really helps you with your nervous levels, your anxiety levels. Maybe that's why I started when I was 9, because it was really beneficial for me. Did you maybe find that you had the same thing?
Yeah, it helps you make sense of everything, because the thing is you keep being bombarded by people's opinions about what you're seeing is wrong or you're possessed or this and that. But if you really go inside and listen, you'll realize that what you've been seeing all along was true, and there's no reason to fear it.
Yeah.
So I think find the answers within, and don't pay attention to what everybody says.
Yes. Yes, I definitely agree with that. And I mean, even what you guys do, you do these incredible workshops, which is all about psychic development, which is really, really great. But I think the one thing that people sometimes don't realize is that you get all this knowledge that you give to yourself, and that doesn't really matter whether you are studying something that's esoteric or whether you're at university. It doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
we give our brain so much information, and we don't always give it that sufficient little window to just sort of process all of that. And that is really what makes meditation so great as well. It really gives you it gives your mind the space to breathe, to your psyche, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So I do animal communication as well, and people often ask me, how do you chat to my dog? How can you chat to my dog? But the main thing is meditation is key, because again, you can't really listen if you don't quiet the mind enough. You can actually, everything speaks in this universe. The plants, the trees, everything has something to say if you just keep your mind quiet enough and listen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell me, your guys' journey, how did it start? Do you want to maybe go first, Roxanne?
Yeah,
Your
sure.
journey with meditation, how did it start? How did it
Gather background first. Gosh, mine started in my early 20s. And this is very much coupled to spirituality for me. And it's, when you have a tragedy in your life that sort of pulls the rug from underneath your feet and sort of make you question life and where you are. And what I started noticing about myself is I keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. And I thought to myself, there must be more to this. Why? I know something is not wrong or some sort of behavior is not right, but I can't help but get over it. And after being to different psychologists and trying to seek different types of therapy, nothing was really coming right. And then I sort of started embarking and trying to learn different things. I looked into Buddhism, I looked into different religions. I was just really on a seeking path. And then I came across meditation, and I started trying this out. And in the beginning, not many people, in my early 20s, not everyone meditated. And it was a very much a self-discovery thing, And the more I started applying just that, I can't even tell you how it's linked, but I started being aware of what my issues are and where they stem from. And then I was able to recognize them and then shift them and shift perspectives. And also be in a space where you're more compassionate and connected to the universe versus me. So it was becoming aware of the ego and the selfishness, the selfish parts of ourselves, So that's pretty much where I started off.
No, definitely.
So for me, like I said, sorry.
No, go on.
Okay, so for me, my journey started actually when I was very, very young, like 7. I started having visions, started seeing things that other people couldn't see. And I guess at the age of 13, when the church came and said they're going to close my third eye because I'm possessed, I kind of switched off, and I battled to see again. And eventually my ex committed suicide, and that basically catapulted me into trying to connect with her, trying to go into my spirituality again, trying to use my abilities again. And that basically what set me up. I started meditating, really going in deeper and deeper, and I'm here now.
I think that is the big thing, because a lot of people believe that you have to be so spiritual to do these things, and you have to be into the metaphysical, but you don't have to. You don't have to care about spirituality in the slightest. And I really think and obviously when, if you look at the videos, you will see me in the videos more, for the simple reason I was the one who had more time, but it's sort of like our voices speaking together. but it really can help you in life to just move through very difficult periods, because life can be very, very challenging, and sometimes you just need that helping hand. And I think something very big for us was to not just give you all these beautiful, eloquent little meditation sessions with, water flowing at the back and little music and whatever, but to really understand how to do it for yourself and to be able to maintain that for yourself so that your life does get better. Because the knowledge that is shared in this coaching, coming from all three of us, it is really a lot of knowledge that we gained over many, many years. And so we're trying to condense it, to not overwhelm you, but to condense it so that you don't have to take 20 years to get to this point. And that's really the whole vision behind it.
I'm sorry, another thing that's popped up for me, and this was also going back to my 20s, is the one thing I realized through meditation is that I was in victim mode. I was very much in a space where I feel like the world was happening to me, while all these bad things happening to me. And it helped me realize that I took my power back, and I was like, hey, I am the one causing this, whether it's energetically or negative thinking or whatever the case. I realized that it had to do with me. So I was able to start taking responsibility for my life and accepting the lessons. The lessons kept coming, the hardship kept coming because I wasn't shifting. And I'm a stubborn Taurus, so it took many years to shift it. But when I got it right, it was amazing. And I must say, it all came down to meditation and quietening the mind,
And when you take control back of your life, you can actually control the outcome, what's going to happen in the future, because you are the one behind the steering wheel now. And meditation can help you really get to that point.
And that is
all these
big thing. You get in control of your life. That is the big thing.
Yes.
Because, I think a lot of times as people, we want to have this beautiful, airy, flary, butterflies and sparkles type of experience. But something that I always try to explain as well is that in order to really choose that good life for yourself, you need to understand what is your potential to be a really crap, horrible, terrible person. And if you can approach that from a very respectful side and a very humane sort of side, and almost like an emotionally mature sort of side, then you actually utilize more of your mind. So it sounds like such a simple thing, you every day you just sit down for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And with it, I'd actually like to say that for me, I started at 9 and I'm 40 now, so I was that weirdo who meditated. But I think for the first
a long time, man. It's a flippin' long time to have meditated. I mean,
and you know what? I started back in the day I had these cassette tapes. I don't think anybody ever uses cassette tapes anymore. But I had these cassette tapes, and it was on both sides. It was 4, and it was an hour on each side. And it really helped me to understand what meditation really is, broken down into tiny little pieces. Because again, a lot of times we just want to be given everything. But when you learn how to really create it for yourself and maintain it for yourself and utilize it for yourself and expand it in a very healthy way for yourself, then that really makes a big change in your life. And I would say even people that have been meditating for many, many years, sometimes when you get that fresh sort of perspective on things, you go like, I forgot that. And that's why I love to teach. And that's why I love to work with you guys, because you love to teach. And you come from that very unselfish sort of point. Let's give, let's help, let's share. And I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not even going to make any bones about it. If there's one thing that I absolutely despise and that completely disgusts me, is people that try to pry on other people's emotions because they're trying to move through stuff or get through stuff. And they sort of start to build that codependency with a so-called psychic or guru or whatever. And because you guys don't like or don't do that, that's why I like y'all. And that's why I like to work with y'all, because it's all about empowering others.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that old saying of you don't give a man the fish, you give him a fishing rod, because we are not empowering anybody by spoon feeding them either. Just quickly going back to the meditation, it took me many years to figure out a meditation that works for me.
Yes.
So people must just remember that it takes a little while in the beginning to find your sweet spot and what works for you. Whether it's the timing, what music. Yes, exactly. You've got to put in the work. It's also a good way to figure yourself out and what works for you. My first meditation was earphones with you know, a frequency music on, a candle, because my mind was too busy. I couldn't close my eyes, like the whole katoot, and that's changed as I've changed, you know, but people need to experiment different things and play around with what works for them, your seating position, all of that sort of stuff, what time of day, you know, so it's all about, once again, it's self-discipline, which is self-love really, and put in the work and you'll find your sweet spot, you know.
Exactly. And it's different strokes for different folks. So as we spoke, there's many things that are being suggested to you in this coaching. You can do it like this and like this and like this and like this and like this. So it's a process of trying everything, giving it the honest chance, and then really see what works for you. Really
exactly.
And you don't really need any tools outside of yourself, but what you can do, you can include the elements. For instance, you can use your breath, that's the element of air. You can use a candle, element of fire. You can use the sound of water. So all these things are available to us freely that we can use to help our meditation.
Sorry, one more thing I wanted to say is a lot of people feel that they need to have a quiet space to meditate. And when I embarked on the Buddhism thing, that one of the teachers that I dealt with, he said, you know, some of the Buddhist monks can sit in a busy city on a street corner and they can meditate. So people find it as an excuse. Oh, I couldn't meditate because the house was too noisy. That's the whole point of it, is to be able to sit in the chaos and quieten your mind. It's the most tricky, but it's one of the things that I was, you know, able to do. So yeah, just one thing I wanted to say is don't let noisiness or having kids or dogs or whatever running around put you off from being able to create that space for yourself every day.
And I mean, you guys have kids, and I've got a dog, and I've got 2 nephews. They were doing construction outside yesterday. Life is still going to happen, and so I think it's very important to also understand that. I suppose it's a little ironic if you put it like this, but even though meditation, in a way, it's about escapism, it's really not about escapism. And I think my mind really changed a couple of years ago when I was reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and he was saying that anything in this world that really bothers you, a dog barking or whatever, at some point your brain has been told that if that happens, it's supposed to irritate you, and you can change your mind around that. And when you do, that is when you get those magical things where you can sit on a bus or outside, and then you actually become the calm presence. And if you are calm, you attract calm to you. And if you are all crazy all over the place, then you attract crazy all over the place to you. That's just really how it works.
Again, being in control of your own mind, not allowing your mind to run away with you. People with like anger management issues can really benefit from meditation because they gain control of how they respond and how they react towards certain triggers.
And also it helps you to really understand what the cause is of the anger, and then to change your emotional connection around that. Because if you do, then the whole experience changes for you, because we're all different.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
That's a
golden nuggets that we want to leave people with. What do we want?
Say again?
Golden nuggets that we want to leave everybody with. I know you guys have a whole treasure chest. Don't be modest. I've spoken to you all. You have got a lot that you can say to people that is so beneficial. What can you share?
So, for me, the main thing is everything. So for me, the main thing is everything is within you. Stop looking outside of you for stuff to fill you up and answers and this, while everything is within you. Everything that you need, you can find in yourself.
Yeah, and for me, I always say when something upsets you, when something that someone else outside of yourself upsets you, it's actually an opportunity to heal, because it's irritating you inside. What they do and how they are is none of your business, actually, but it's almost like a message from from the universe or from your team, in a way, you know, your guardian angels, to say, why is that irritating me the whole time? And that, in other words, it's a signal to go within and ask deeper questions. So yeah, that's something I quite enjoy.
And I mean, it's amazing that you would say that, because it's always so easy to blame this one and blame that one and blame this and blame that. And as I said, when we put this across, in our conversation, we wanted to really, I suppose, provide people with something that's almost tangible, to make you understand that this is how it works. It is presumably spiritual sort of practice, but this is why it works, and this is how it works scientifically. And I think, something that really also blew my mind, which I think I only found it out about 2 years ago, is that at any given point in time, a lot of times you feel I've got no options, or you only have 2 options, and you sort of like pros and cons, what is the best choice for me? But the truth of the matter is that at any given point in time, I think there's at least 53 different possibilities in how you can experience a moment. And when you really get into meditation, what you do is, instead of trying to create an opportunity for yourself, because the opportunities and then the possibilities already exist, what you do is you open your mind in such a way that your mind actually makes you aware of what the possibility is for you. So it really helps you to take all of those possibilities around you that are always there, that you may not even have been aware of, to make those possible for you. And I think that is really what we want to help people with, because we're all about helping you to live a better experience of life. And I mean, I know I'm the same as you guys. Come to me, let me help you, and fuck off, go live your life. Have a good life. I don't want people to come back to me like 10 times in a row.
Oh,
not a
us
therapist.
as well. That's why we have these development workshops where you learn to connect with we're all born with psychic abilities, and that's just being able to connect with your 6 senses really, and your intuition. That stuff guides you so much. And so we try and enable people so that they don't keep coming back to us to get advice on their life, so that they are able to change that,
You see why I like you?
The fact is, this gift belongs to everybody, not just a select few.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to understand. It's available for everybody.
Yes. Obviously, for everybody watching, you can see we're just having this conversation. We didn't, we didn't rehearse anything, because, when you speak the truth, you don't have to rehearse. But I think what's also incredible with these workshops that you do, and I think what makes the 2 of you such a really powerful team, is that, you've got Arno that comes from this one side that it's, I don't know all of your history, but I do know that you have got very much a thing of me being born highly intuitive, seeing people that passed away, having all these weird conversations. I don't know, like me probably being very confused at a funeral, what the hell's going on here? And then, Roxanne, you come a lot from the more corporate side. And I think what really makes it so incredible is that, for example, there was a time when I was in corporate quite a bit, and it really, really, really didn't work for me. But I didn't really know how to go about taking the step from what didn't work for me into what is actually working for me. And I think that is what makes what you guys do so powerful, because it sort of takes things from both avenues, which I think is really, really great.
Yeah, it's been a tricky one, because there's so much conditioning that comes from being in corporate, and relationships with money, and how hard and how much of ourselves we prepare to sacrifice to make more money. But we've been able to shift that money hunger into healing hunger, wanting to heal ourselves and wanting to heal everyone that we come across, and it's really about helping people find themselves again, because a lot of us have become sheep and conditioned, and it's not who we are, so it's about a path to finding oneself. And when you're on the path, someone once said to me, when you're on the right path, God and the universe rise up to meet you. And that's where I feel, even financially, things have just happened for us in this environment, because I feel like we're fulfilling our purpose. And the thing is all about trust and surrender. It's almost like if you are somebody who does pray, it's like asking for something, or asking the universe for something, and then letting it go, letting control go, and go with the flow of life, instead of, like we opened this shop, for example, and or healing center, and we haven't decided on any strict retail hours, but we are in retail, technically speaking. But we're not following those rules because it doesn't suit us, because society wants us to open from 9 to 5. We don't do that. We're here when we need to be here, and that's what suits us. So we're trying to break down all that. You have to work really, really hard to become successful conditioning. You don't have to. You really don't have to. And that's one of my biggest lessons coming into this environment from corporate, is that you don't have to kill yourself and work yourself into the bone to live a fulfilled life.
And the change of mindset can be a little bit of a step sometimes, because I remember when I'm working a lot less now than I used to, but the one big thing, isn't it wonderful?
Yeah,
I'm
no.
working less and I'm actually making more money. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I want everybody to know that this is actually possible for you. And I mean, it sounds quite, oh, it's so easy for you to say, but I mean, I come from a background where I didn't believe in myself. I grew up poor. I have no confidence. I literally believed that everybody was saying this God is so amazing and so incredible. But I was saying, like, I'm pretty convinced he can't be that great because he made me and I must be a mistake. Like, you couldn't convince me otherwise. But I think the big thing that I realized with working is that I can't really be working while everybody else is working because the clients that I get are sort of at work during retail hours. So,
Yeah.
which is great because I love being up at night and I love sleeping late. Actually, I don't like sleeping late, but I like having mornings to myself.
Yes, we're the same.
Yeah.
That's also coming back down to it's a sort of self-love thing, is having the time to meditate in the morning, make a beautiful breakfast for yourself, where we're always just drinking protein shakes on the go, gymming for only half an hour. Now we can really invest in ourselves. So the first portion of the day for both of us is about our needs and looking after our bodies and that sort of thing, and then we shifted to workspace. So being at work at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and then having spent an hour in traffic, there's no self-love there. There's no appreciation. And you come home, you're exhausted, you grab something out of the cupboard and you go flop down in bed and you're not living. So yeah.
And you're not present, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
And you're not present because you're usually angry or frustrated, and I think especially when you are living a sort of life, we begin to learn about gratitude and you have to be happy about everything. And a lot of times people get very scared because they're like, well, I should be grateful for my job because if I'm not grateful, I may lose it. And you can say, I'm grateful for what this is, but I don't want to live this way. I want to have a different sort of life. And instead of going to try and look for the solution yourself, if you just grow your relationship with your mind, the solution will actually come to you. I call it including your magical magnet. It can just come to you because you can't really receive what isn't sort of in alignment with your core values and beliefs. So you change those values and beliefs, you really change your experience of life. And it sounds like the simplest thing, but it is a little bit challenging. It takes a little while to get used to it. But when you get it,
I know, when it clicks, when it happens, it's so amazing.
It just gets better. You don't even know where these miracles are coming from.
Yeah. Energetically, you start shifting inside as well, and you start attracting different things. You start breaking down those negative beliefs and conditioning and all of that. And because your energy changes as well, you do less, get more. That's the thing that changes. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, he taught me that. He's like, why do you have to rush when you open the center in the beginning? He's like, why do you have to rush and be there at 9 o'clock? Who's gonna what's gonna happen if you don't? I'm like, because we have to be open at 9. But he's like, but why? Why do we need to do this? Because we've been conditioned to do that, So he's really taught me a lot about slowing down and being in a place of acceptance and shifting yourself energetically to attract different things.
Yeah.
We're shifting from a place of you need to work hard to be successful to a place of I can manifest whatever I want. And that's, I think, is the next step of evolution. We need to really know that we can attract anything we want without really working our asses off all the time.
I mean, I wanted to go really, really deep with this. So I was like, because here's the thing. Our life is basically based on our internal patterning and your subconscious belief, your little bits and pieces that forms the story of who you are. And I learned very early in my sort of like regression hypnosis sort of days that when you speak to people about so let's say I'm talking to you, Roxanne, so these are your patterns and this is why you're having that experience, people become incredibly offended by it. But when you come from the understanding that about 99.9% of your beliefs, basically, or your independent thinking about who you are, is really inherited. You've been born with that programming. And then from the time that you conceived up until about 6.5, 7 years old, that patterning sort of gets reinforced within you. So none of us are really as individual as we believe ourselves to be. And so I think, first of all, it's not really your fault because the conditioning that we have been going on for generations and generations and generations. And I really feel that when I can as I said, we could have done a really beautiful little 4-hour thing for you with little butterflies falling down and stuff like that, which is great and which will really help you. But I feel that in a way it still creates dependency, because you know that it works, but you don't know how it works. You don't understand how to maintain it. And that is what I, even to my clients, I say to them, well, here's something simple you can do here. There's something simple that you can do there. And it helps to reinforce the positive benefits of everything that, that you covered. I mean, you guys do these incredible workshops. It's all about psychic development. And I'm even going to go so far as to say it's all about self-development, really, and self-extension, self-growth, and self-love. And I think when you do something like meditation practice, it really helps you to merge in a positive direction faster. Actually, do you want to tell me a little bit about the classes that you do, or the coaching that you do?
So, so in the workshop, we normally gather, we try not to have a very large number of people because we really work individually with people. And in the workshop, one of the first subjects that comes up is meditation, because that is the key to being able to connect. And then also understanding that a lot of the messages that we get are actually, we're tapping into consciousness, we're tapping into a different dimension, and we're gathering where all knowledge and truth is. So a lot of people, and then another subject that we teach there is understanding the ego, and that the ego is all about self, me, separation, being right or wrong, black and white, very little emotion and compassion there, but it is your protector as well. But we've become too overprotective, and we live way too much in the ego. And our belief system is that the ego is the brain, and the brain is the veil. It's the thin lining between us and consciousness, and being able to connect with your guides and spirits and all of those if you're interested to do so. But a lot of it, the whole workshop is really about self and tapping in and quietening the mind and not letting the mind control you. And so, yeah, it's amazing. And by the end of the workshop, we actually have 2 people that buddy up, and they're able to tap into that person's energy and pick up things about them, how many children they have, that sort of information. And it's surprising just from one workshop how people come up. It's not something we teach them. We just make them aware of their own abilities, So it's a whole day workshop, and it's really amazing. Most people have left with being able to do some great things, and then obviously go home and meditate as well. But a lot of people keep coming back because they just want to further that ability. It's so exciting when you're able to drive your life from understanding and seeing deeper meaning and tapping into consciousness and using your psychic abilities.
And it's a really brave thing to do for you guys, actually. It's a brave thing to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What did you want to say?
So yeah, for me, the foundation of working as a psychic, animal communicator, healer, all that is meditation. Before every reading I do, before every healing I do quiet the mind a little bit first, because I need to tap into that person's energy and understand what's bothering them, what's hurting, how can we go about healing all of that. So yes, without meditation, I would not be able to do this work. That's the bottom line.
I don't think I would be able to either. I don't think I would be able. And you even get these little things that you can do in between the day, but it's great for learning, it's great for self-development, it's great for just moving through difficult spaces, because it sort of opens your mind and makes you more receptive. And then it also really helps your mind to not only take on new things, but to kind of like really sort of root it down in a way that is serving you best.
I've even used meditation. So now I've had an argument with somebody and I'm extremely riled up. That's the ego that's upset or is offended. You can't make sense of anything, because we know making decisions in that environment or in that state is just wrong. And I use meditation. I mean, you could even do this at work. Even if you have to go to the ladies and go sit in a cubicle for 5 minutes, just to center yourself and bring yourself into a calm state, and you actually start seeing the other person's point of view, and you start recognizing where you've played a part. But that's all about quietening down. So I've really used it as a tool to get myself not detached from a negative emotion, and let's not call it a negative emotion, because I think all emotions have their value. but just calm down completely and get perspective on any situation that has really ruffled my feathers.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing tool, and I've used it. So even if it's, I'm going to quickly go sit in the car and just breathe and center myself. And then from that position, I'm able to make a really just a mature sort of judgment on the situation, or I'll get some sort of direction as to what needs help. So yeah, that's another thing I wanted to mention where meditation has helped me.
It also helps you see the other person's perspective, because there's always more than one perspective to a situation.
Yeah.
And again, like meditating, going within, helps you really connect to the oneness, that you are one with this person, even though you don't like what's just been said or what's been done. You still love them for who they are, and you understand that there might be a lesson in all of that.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't like them for who they are, at least having the willingness to possibly do like them for who they are, you know, because it's hard sometimes. And I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Some people really rub you up the wrong way. And, you know, sometimes you can just want to go crazy about it. And I like the fact that you were speaking about it, Roxanne, that sometimes you just have to go put yourself in the cubicle. Because what I say to people a lot of times, and I've been saying it for years, that as a person who can sometimes be socially awkward myself and sometimes get overwhelmed by a lot of energy, and I don't always do very well in, I mean, we all just normal people, you know, I don't always do very well with very strong sort of confrontations and fights or things like that. And I will say, listen, if you just need to go lock yourself up in the bathroom for 5 minutes and just breathe, that's it. And I remember this one day I was watching Oprah and she was speaking to someone else and she said, you know, sometimes I get socially awkward and overwhelmed and I go to the bathroom for 5 minutes and I just breathe. I'm like, oh, you also do it. So I must be on the
I see.
You know, we all just people. Yeah, I think it's important to also understand that what we share with you, we are normal people with normal lives, with no, I don't really know how normal our lives are, but you know, normal lives with problems and worries, and we have off days, and it's I keep on saying hypnosis. Meditation is sort of like about rewiring yourself, bringing yourself back to that positive point again and again, because life is going to throw you. You're not always going to be in this great space. Things are going to happen. And meditation is really about keep on returning back to the center point where you can come from a point where you make the best decision for yourself. And sometimes that decision is no decision. It's to just sort of just be there. You get I suppose you get a more energetically adult perspective of life.
You know, a lot of us walk around as well and we react to things. And our reaction is very much feeling something, not being happy about it, having a suppressed emotion come up, attaching it to that, and then doing something. So that's helped me act and not react, which has been a massively useful tool. Sometimes I really got to hold it in, but it's real, because when you react to something, it's actually past experiences of this experience coming rushing forward because it's been unhealed or dealt with. So to able to sit in the moment and not attach anything to past whatever it was, you know, repetitive patterns and things like that. Oh, I've had this argument with all my ex-boyfriends over and over and over again. This is how I'm going to react, because you're reacting from a past experience. Instead of seeing the moment just for its own, or just, you know, in its uniqueness almost, and acting upon a thing. It's been amazing. I'm not always able to apply that, but I try my best. And if I haven't meditated, I will be reacting the day. If I've meditated, I then act for the day. It's amazing.
So before we go, now we're not trying to force anybody to do this. Like, I mean, I really want you all to get this. We're not trying to force anybody to do anything. We're just simply letting you know what is available. With that being said, from either of you, what do you think is one of the reasons why people should actually be open to learning meditation, whether they do it through this course, whether they do it through other fields? And listen, I'm not going to even make any bones about it. This is an excellent course. Like, really, if you really want to take control of your life, if you want to heal your past, if you want to really put in the work, this is sort of the route that you want to go. But why would you guys say that it is a must to, even if it's not the specific course, why is it that you really want to learn meditation? And when I say meditation, I'm really speaking about gaining a deeper connection with your own mind, growing that beautiful relationship with your own mind, so that your life does expand in beautiful, beautiful ways. And it's not just about sitting down and going in the morning, but when you're standing in the queue at the supermarket and somebody triggers you, or you're at work and somebody triggers you. These all these little things that you can do to really help you with it. And why do you think it's imperative for people to be able to actually do that in their lives? Why should they spend their money and spend their time and sign up for something like this?
So for me, mainly it's just to become more aware, to become aware of your surroundings, your behavior, the way that you're feeling, to try and recognize why am I feeling bad? Why is there a pain here? Why is there an issue there? Is to make you aware of your life, to give you the power back, to make you, to put you back in control. For me, that's the main thing. The main importance of meditation is to put you in control of your own life and your own outcomes.
From my side, most of us walk around complaining about our lives and that we're not happy with them, but we don't know how to change. We don't know how to change it and bring the life, the fulfilled life that we want into the now. And that's what meditation does. Because of all the aspects and all the things that it touches on, it puts you in the driver's seat once again. Because when we are in a life that we don't want and we don't know how to change, that means we're not in the driver's seat. That means we think that our power, our inner power, lies outside of ourselves, and it's about pulling that inner power back into ourselves. And the realizations, the epiphanies, the guidance, all of that will come with meditation. Yeah. Your entire life will change. And I'll pay $1 million for this type of course, like seriously, because if I knew, the difference, and I do now know the difference that it can make in your life. And actually, on that note, I would love to know, like all the successful people in the world, do they meditate? I can tell you now, hands down, 90% of them meditate.
They do. Yes. Because success, and I always like to remind people of this, success is actually for great people. Because success takes a lot from you, and it means that you go against the norm. You don't listen to things like, in order to be successful, you have to almost sell your soul to the devil, sort of thing. Well, some people do buy into that, but when I speak about success, I'm speaking about being happy with your life, feeling fulfilled, making money, being able to support yourself, and really just feeling that your life has some sort of meaning and essence on this planet, because we're not here very long. Like literally, when you think about it, you're not here very long. So what are you going to do with the time that you have? Also, I know that you guys do, just correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that when you do sort of like psychic readings and channeling for people, that you actually work together as a team, right?
Yes.
And if anybody's interested in that, how do they get hold of you?
Well, they can contact us on our pages, but they can WhatsApp us. Would you like me to give our numbers?
You can give your numbers, and then I will also put it down in the description as well.
Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll just put it in the description box. But the best thing is to WhatsApp us, because we're generally busy in readings and things like that. So we do quite a variety of things, from energy healing to animal communication. And then the actual readings that we do are very comprehensive, because we look into many different aspects, and we actually generally go over an hour, because there's so much information that comes through from both of us. And then confirmations as well, because we both get the same messages from spirit, and we do crossing overs mixed up. It's one of Arno's fortes is mediumship. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and we don't just say, oh well, there's the news, go off and have a good life. We actually try and help people integrate the information that we've given them to try and better, or to try and shift things in their life. And we also stay in touch with them afterwards to make sure that they're doing okay. So we offer a support network after the readings, so that it's just about really helping people, not just about giving them information and say, oh, you're going to have 3 kids when you're the age of 35, bye bye, see you. It's not about that for us. It's about helping people heal and change and seeing things that they can't see.
I also think, just before we go, I also want to sort of really just reiterate this, that just because your reading says you're going to have 3 kids doesn't mean you can have 3 kids, because
yes.
And I mean, as a person who loves tarot, just because this is what the cards are telling you, if you change your energy, then your life also changes. I actually had something really funny this one time. I had a hypnosis session with someone, and this person went to go see a psychic, and the psychic told her that she's going to get a child, and she actually had a tarot reading with me first. And I was also telling her I'm seeing this child, but it was a very indecisive sort of energy, like he's coming, but he's sort of like they're on the fence about it. Then we had the session, and then after the session, there was no more traces of this child, and everybody lost their minds a little bit. It's like, well, you have to remember that even though we all see our children as blessings coming into this world, a lot of times souls come in to help each other with certain things. And just because you have the vision that the child's going to come in, it's going to be incredible, wonderful, and fantastic. This person could come in and be an absolute piece of shit. And they kind of, they come in to sort of help you learn a different lesson. But because you change your energy, you don't have to have that experience any longer. So I think something to just be very mindful of also when you do things like meditation, you begin to, I also touch on helping you to heal your past, heal your, what we call your co-initiators. So your path of life may change, but it does change for the positive.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're not trying to be funny with you.
Change is always somewhat uncomfortable, but at the end, if you look back on your life, you always see that change facilitated much greater things and much nicer things.
Yeah.
Change is never painful. The resistance to change is painful.
Yes, because life always changes. The world's always expanding. And this is the thing, if you're happy at this spot over here, and you say, this is so great, I'm not going to change, the world keeps on moving past you, and by default, you actually fall behind. So if you are interested in really sort of like discovering your own magic and unlocking your own magic and expanding it and maintaining it in a positive way, in a way that serves your highest good, then you might want to consider signing up for this. This is why I invited Arno and Roxanne to come on with me, because I mean, they're gorgeous beings. And literally, I don't just work with anybody, because I feel a lot of, I don't. I don't. And I'm not even ashamed to say that, because I feel a lot of people, they see the money. They see people are struggling, they see emotions, and they just see like, ka-ching, I can make money from them. And I always say to people, like even with tarot readings, listen, I can tell you the most beautiful bullshit. You are strong, you're blah, 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 blah. I can blow your mind away for 3 hours. But this is what I like about you guys. It's about telling someone what they actually need to know and what's going to help them. And that is what I'm very passionate about. And that is the main reason why, we put this course out. Other people charge like thousands for these. We're charging literally next to nothing. We just don't want to give it to you for free, because
that's another thing, Adrian, I must say. I mean, that was an indicator from my side of you really wanting to help people, that what you are charging is it's almost just covering the Wi-Fi we used to record the recording, you know what I mean? But it's not that we're not, it's obviously, it's just, you're able to reach so many more people, and it's more about helping people and asking something small in exchange than going out there trying to make money, not at all. And that's why we're attracted to you, working with you as well, and attracted to you.
Okay, that's enough compliments for today. So thank you so much. Actually, you all can just go on if you want to, but thank you for joining. Thank you for taking
thank you for inviting us. Yes.
I know you guys don't have a lot of time, neither do I sometimes, and just taking this time just to share with others why what we do might be very beneficial to them. I really, really appreciate it very, very much. Really, I do. So thank you so much for being on board. And if you are interested in signing up for the coaching, I'm going to put my email address down below. You can contact me. You can WhatsApp me, but I think I speak for all of us. If you do send somebody a WhatsApp, so please send a typed message. Please don't send a voice note. Please don't try to call because we're typically busy. So please type a typed message. But you can send me an email. I send the lessons to you. They are downloadable lessons. It's also uploaded on YouTube. It's uploaded on YouTube in a very low resolution. So if you are in a space where you need to stream and your internet connection isn't very strong, you might see me looking a little bit snowy, but it's not really about how a person looks. If you get the downloadable videos, those videos are all around, I would say maybe 250, 300 megabytes. So again, not the highest resolution, but it's also, if you really want to keep it on your mobile device or anything like that, it doesn't become a problem that you don't have any space. So we try to consider in all the different ways around, so that it makes your life easier as opposed to more challenging. Any final words?
Toodaloo. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us, and do check out all the details down below as well. Bye.
Well,
Bye.